Today on Beyond the Panel, we're playing a bit of a game of catch-up. We're talking about Dooku. We're talking about Imperial Cadet number 4, so last week's comics. We'll talk about today's comics, and we'll be back tomorrow, and we might be joined today with Patric Covey. We're not sure yet. It could happen. It'll play out maybe in the next 15 seconds. We don't know. We're going to start right now. Let's do this. Issue number 6 of Beyond the Blast Doors. It has arrived. We're about a week late on this one, but nonetheless, here we are in the moment talking about Star Wars comics, something that brings us together, binds us together. Issue number 6, like I said, we're talking about last week's comics because it is a week of catch-up. By the way, if this is your first time checking out Beyond the Panel, welcome. Welcome to Beyond the Blast Doors. This is a show that I try and do every Thursday at 6 p.m., talking about the last week's worth of comic books and what's coming up the next week. As you can tell, this is not Thursday at 6 p.m. while I'm doing this live show, but because work got crazy last week, and honestly, work is crazy this week, I thought, why not just do the shows this week live? So today, going live here, going to talk about last week's comics, preview what's coming out today, and then what we'll do is come back tomorrow and we'll do another live show, and that show will be about today's comics. So I always try and do, I like to do Thursday at 6 p.m. because that gives everyone more than a day to get, or about a day, to get those new comics and read them so we don't spoil anything and we can kind of get nerdy about them, go in deep dive into the contents of the comic and conversation. So if this is your first time checking out Beyond the Blast Doors or Beyond the Panel, welcome. Be sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so that way when I go live or I drop new videos or we go live for a weekly show, again, we go live every Sunday at about 11 a.m. That could change, though. It could soon be noon Central Time. But if you want to be the first to know about when we drop new videos or go live, be sure you click that bell. You'll get a notification. You'll be able to join us in the live chat. And if you're returning, thank you for your support because it's really been fun to see the show grow. It was frustrating not being able to do the show last week because we have steadily grown every week we've done Beyond the Panel, which is crazy cool. I'm very aware that a lot of folks that follow us love comic books, love comic book talk, and so this just seemed like a very common sense thing to do, a second show on the channel where it would be Beyond the Panel. And of course, now we're trying to rebrand the main show as BTBD Live, so Beyond the Blast Doors Live. And again, 11 a.m. every Sunday, now featuring a live guest. Today, we were going to be joined with a special guest, Patric Covey, of course, the former host of the Resistance broadcast over there at StarWarsNewsNet.com. But as I'm checking my inbox, it seems like Patric is still unavailable, so I think something came up. So you're just going to get me, which is usually the standard protocol for Beyond the Panel. But now that we have this capability of having live guests on the show, and it's been so much fun. This past week we had for 2 weeks ago we had Patric, then we had Pete Fletzer, a freelancer. He talked about his experience covering and working for Lucasfilm in the mid-'90s. He covered all the premieres for the prequel movies. Check that interview right now out on our YouTube channel after this episode if you want, or you can queue it up simultaneously while I'm talking to whatever makes you happy. But that is an option for you. Great interviews both weeks, and we're trying to nail down the flow of doing one interview a show, because then the next step is 2, and I think that'd be really fun. Shows seem to be going about 90 minutes now. So have one in the first 45 minutes, have one in the second 45 minutes. It's something that we got to work on to be more time efficient. But right now, we're talking about Star Wars comics, and before we get going, I do want to dive into the live chat and just see if there is anyone with me right now. This was unscheduled. This was unplanned. No one knew that I was going to be going live, and so I am totally aware that I may be alone in this moment for a short, brief period of time, but then you will join me. So let me go ahead and post this last tweet. And I'm going to say, join me live to talk Star Wars comics. There we go. Oh, my gosh, I almost tagged somebody. All right, cool. So letting everybody know, just sent off the last Facebook and Twitter notification. So let's go ahead and dive into what we're talking about. So you might remember last week what we got was the Age of Republic, Dooku, Jody Houser, Luke Ross. They have been slaying every issue. Slaying, that's not a term that I would expect to come out of my mouth. Crushing, they crushed the issue. Will hopefully crush this episode. But it was a great story of Count Dooku post-Phantom Menace, but pre-Attack of the Clones. And he's kind of in his formative stage with Sidious. He is now Palpatine's apprentice. And there's this great exchange in the comic book of how, like, he's like, well, we could use this person as an assassin and be a Padawan. No, 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 no. You're not looking to replace me, are you? Well, no. Okay, great. But the crux of this issue is Dooku goes to Celis, trying to get Celis to join the Separatist effort, and he runs into a Jedi. And traditional fashion here on Beyond the Blast Doors, I have for you the inside look in the comic book. It's really fascinating. Like, if you haven't read this comic book, and you've had a week to do it, so I don't feel bad spoiling anything here. If you haven't read it, it might be the best one. Now, people are going to fight me on it. I still think Qui-Gon's my favorite. But I think that when you read this book, what Jody Houser does really well is writing to these characters so well. I heard Christopher Lee the entire time voicing Count Dooku. And Luke Ross, the way he does cityscapes is incredible. I think about, like, people, like, they talk about, like, having, like, custom clocks, or, like, they have, like, fan art or something on their walls. Like, I want to get a Coruscant or Sullust cityscape from Luke Ross and put that on my wall because it looks so stunning. Dooku's here trying to build an alliance for the Emperor, and he runs into this Jedi Knight. And the Jedi Knight looks like a tiger. I believe, according to Jody Houser's tweets, Toygarian is how you would pronounce this, Toygarian. And it turns out this Jedi Knight was a Padawan when Dooku was still a Jedi Master of his own. And here he is in this panel, and I love this. Dooku with the blue lightsaber ignited, dueling Yoda. Like, this is crazy. And then it's like, of course, like foreshadowing, right? Foreshadowing what we get in Attack of the Clones when we get Yoda and Dooku to duel on Geonosis after the failure of Obi-Wan and Anakin. And maybe you don't look at that as failure. I do. But a lot of people have, I think a lot of people take the stance that they just weren't equals in this duel compared to the swordsman that Dooku is. And that's fine. I respect that, of course. But it's really interesting how this Jedi just is so excited and wants to befriend Dooku. And Count does this really great way of, like, getting this Jedi Knight to, like, empathize with him and, like, manipulates him so quickly. And they talk about, Qui-Gon's death. You see the panel there of, Maul killing Qui-Gon. And, then the Jedi reveals, like, he's on this special mission. And then they hear about these, these, like, pirates or, like, smugglers goofing off in an alleyway. So they go and they track down, like, what's going on. And this is, like, the climax of the scene because this Toygarian Jedi, he's like, boom, I'm going to bust out my lightsaber. We're going to have a real good time. We're going to hash these guys up. It's going to be a blast. They get surrounded. They're easily outnumbered. And then Dooku ignites his saber because he's just going to own all these guys, but he reveals himself as Sith. And this Jedi Knight is completely baffled with what's going to happen. Dooku goes ahead and slaughters all these guys, ends up killing the Jedi. And, it's just so great to show. It shows just how cunning Dooku is. It just shows his ability to be the puppeteer. And, of course, we know the puppeteer in all of this is really Sidious. But it's nice to see Dooku get in on that action. It's really exciting. I really enjoy it. And I would recommend this book to any of you. And I'm going to check it down in the live chat now to see if anyone is reading that book. It looks like Patric might be joining us here in a little bit. It looks like there's something going on with our chat room. So we'll check in here in just a moment. Let's first check in the live chat and see what we have going on. We have Melanie with us. She says, hello, sorry, Moose Hockey game is on, priorities, Alex, the comic hoarder, is here. He says, hi, David. I'm at a customer lunch right now, but has a second in between shifts. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Oh, and give a thumbs up. We also have Semper Fi Comics hanging out in the live chat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just say hi, everyone. Just glad that everyone is here hanging out. We're starting to figure things out. This is going really well. Really appreciate everyone stopping by. Of course, for watching live right now, 5 thumbs up. If you haven't already, smash the thumbs up button. Whether you're watching live or on the rewind, and if you have not, go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell option. We have poor Mike joining us as well. Good to see you in the chat, man. And we're having this conversation take off. Now, I am seeing some settings here. I'm going to see if I can get my buddy up here. We have Patric Covey trying to join. And I want to see if we can get him in the chat. Sounds like he's having connectivity issues. So I will just keep on going. Patrick says, oh, no, he says he overslept. Oh, you know what, Patrick? I know you're going to watch this. You're watching this right now. I'm not mad. You're good, man. It's all good. Yep, just having some issues trying to pull him up. Not a problem at all. Oh, is this him? Did we get a voice box? Oh, my gosh, we might actually have him. Oh, he disconnected. I thought I was going to be able to bust him up in the double box. That would have been good. Says you have bad connectivity. All right, so he's going to try again. In the meantime, my closing thoughts for this is, I love that this is how Dooku reveals himself to the Jedi, because, of course, he kills the Jedi. And then on top of that, he's still able to be secret. So it really gives him a great opportunity here. And look at this. I see Patric Covey. So I'm going to let him know that I see him, and he sees me. I'm about to bring him up. Folks, we're going to be joined here by Patric Covey. It's going to be a lot of fun. He looks excited. He's got a Star Wars cap on. And when Patric Covey has the Star Wars cap on, that means he's ready to talk business. So I'm going to bring it back up to me, okay? Because I feel like this is the best way to start. You know, I'm really excited for this. Patrick is a good friend of the show, and we've gotten to know each other the last couple of months pretty well. And going to have him join. And I'm going to have him go on standby here in a second. Pull his audio up, and then I'll bust him up in the double box. And then we're going to razz him a little bit. We're going to give him a little trouble. He overslept. Poor guy. It's all right. This is going to be fun. All right, so he's looking locked and loaded. I'm going to pod him up. Well. Hey, Patrick. And going to have him join. Check. And I'm going to have him go on standby here in a second. Pull his audio up, and then I'll bust him up in the double box. And then we're going to razz him a little bit. We're going to give him a little trouble. He overslept. Do you got me? Poor guy. It's all right. Patrick, do you hear me, bud? Oh, it's not working. All right, so no problem. We're going to go ahead to the next book because I don't want to waste your time trying to do this, and I also don't want to waste Patrick. So let's go ahead on to the next comic here, and that is this cover variant for the Age of Republic Dooku, because what we have here is John Tyler Christopher, who's known for his action figure covers. And he does this one. It's Revenge of the Sith cover. Just check this out. I'm not sure why we were getting your feedback, buddy. So what I love about this cover, though, is it is that Revenge of the Sith. It's that gritty Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And if the reports from StarWarsNewsNet.com are accurate, which we're led to believe that they are, sounds like we're getting an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and we're going to get Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. So should be pretty great. Should be pretty exciting for that series, but also just this cover. Pick it up. It is an exclusive. I believe you just have to go to JohnTylerChristopher.com. So with that said, let's move on to Imperial Cadet number 4. Now, this is a comic that I've been pretty open with, that it's been very hit or miss. I love the visuals of this, but I'm not necessarily a fan of just like, I don't know. It's not that it's wordy. I just feel like I can't stay with the book. And sometimes that just happens with comics. But I think it's still, the story itself is in good concept. Written by Robbie Thompson. The art is by Leonard Kirk. David Nakayama does the variant cover, or rather, he does the cover art. You have Casper Winegard. He's doing the solicitation copy. So this whole thing is about how the training is kind of going off the wheels for Han Solo and some cadets. They're thrown into this battle, and Han has a chance to escape. But instead of taking that chance to escape, he decides that he's going to help out a fellow cadet. And it creates a really awesome action sequence. I really do like seeing the destruction that Han and his TIE fighter buddies are able to make in this panel. The art is really stunning, and it feels very cinematic, which I would say, we just got done looking at Dooku. I felt like that it felt comfortable, but I think because I'm just so more used to seeing Dooku now in Clone Wars, that it felt more episodic, more Clone Wars-like. This feels like sequences in a movie. Really enjoyable. And I think that this is an issue that regains my confidence in this. Of course, I think we only have one more issue after this. And again, this was Imperial Cadet number 4 that came out last week. This week, we're going to have Solo, a Star Wars story number 5 of 6 in that mini-series. We're going to try Patrick one more time. So let's see this. I'm going to try. Let's try one more time. I'm telling him that now. I'm pulling myself up. And again, this was Imperial Cadet
Patric,
number 4 that came out
able to
last
turn
week.
down
This week, we're going to have
the volume
Solo,
that you
Star
hear
Wars
me?
Story number 5 of 6,
hearing
and
my
that
voice
mini
back. I'm
series.
just hearing
We're
my
going to
voice back. I'm
try
not hearing you.
Patric one more time. So let's see this. I'm going to try. Let's try one more time. I'm telling him that now. I'm pulling myself. Before that came out last week. This week, we're going to have
the volume
Solo,
that you
Star
hear
Wars
me?
Story number 5 of 6,
and
and that mini series. We're going to try Patric one more time. Patric, can you try one more time? Star Wars Story number 5 of 6, and that mini series. We're going to try Patric. All right, Patric, I don't think it's going to work out, buddy, because I've tried a couple of times, and yeah, we just weren't able to get the mic check done before the show, and I'm not sure what's going on. I know that we have a new cable in the mix that we are trying to get the audio better. See, what's interesting here with all this is, I'll bring myself back on camera for this. We have a new setup for the studio. We found out that the setup that we had 2 weeks ago was stereo, and so when you're an Android user, your phone only has one speaker, it's mono. And so like when we would do the interview with Patric, for example, or we had Pete Fletzer on this past Sunday, we were learning that you could hear us fine on PC, you could hear us fine on your iPhone, but on your like Samsung, on any other kind of smartphone device, any other cell phone, you weren't able to hear what he was saying in response to our questions. So we have a new cable in the mix. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to do a sound check today and make sure that all things were working. That's okay. We're going to go ahead. We're going to step aside, and we are going to just continue on with the episode. We talked about Dooku. We talked about the variant cover there. We talked about Imperial Cadet number 4. Not much more I really wanted to say on that. I think it's a good, if you're a real fan of the Solo movie, and you want more of that like Alden Ehrenreich likeness, and you want that younger Han Solo, then this is where you want to go. This is where you want to go for more content. But if it's not working for you, maybe, or if you just want to stick to your classic Han Solo, then what you want to do is maybe avoid this. I would say check it out. Check out the first issue. If you haven't started the series already, check out the first issue and maybe make the decision for yourself. Okay, here we go. Checking the live comments again. Let's see here. I don't really get into comics, but enjoy listening to you talk about them, Melanie. You are really sweet. When I'm having rough days, I think of you because you cheer me up. Semper Fi Comics says, haven't read it yet, but it sounds cool. Melanie says, excited for the Obi-Wan series. Hope it's a true cause. That will be cool. Area 51 just joining us. Really glad that he's here. 5 people watching, 6 thumbs up. Appreciate everyone's patience because we are really trying some things new. And part of the reason why I wanted to do this live back-to-back was just so that we could, try and figure out these tech issues. That way, when we hit the Sunday live show, it's flawless. And eventually here, I'd love Patric to co-host the show with me, but we got to get this flawless. And the only way we're going to do it is by testing it out like this. So appreciate everyone's patience. And let's go ahead and talk about the comics out this week. So, like I mentioned, Solo number 5 we're getting, and we're also getting another Star Wars Adventures. And to give you a little perspective, again, Star Wars Story number 5, also written by Robert Thompson. Will Sliney does the art. You got Phil Noto doing the variant cover. You also have Scott Forbes doing the solicitation copy. This is the Kessel run. So here we are in the movie where we're finally doing this. They've gotten the coaxium from the spice mines of Kessel, and now they got to do this Kessel run. They encounter this monster, and the whole can they do it under 12 parsecs, making that trip. I'm really excited for it. I have not gotten the book in hand yet today, but I will be talking about this tomorrow. And I am excited because I feel like the adaptation has done a fine job of adapting the movie. I haven't really encountered anything new that's like overwhelming. Like I just think like when I read Rogue One novelization and I learned that Cassian Andor came from a Separatist family, that was a huge reveal, and I was like, why was that not in the movie? I haven't gotten that yet in this series, in this comic adaptation. And maybe there's saving something special for number 6. We're just not sure. But that's what's going on in Solo Star Wars Story number 5. And then Star Wars Adventures number 18, Raiders of the Lost Gundark. This is written by Delilah Dawson and art by Derek Charm, letterer Tom B. Long. And we're also getting Flight of the Falcon Part 5. So not really excited about the first part. Love Delilah Dawson. Just more excited about Flight of the Falcon being wrapped up. But this is written by Michael Marici, art by Irina Florin. You have Adele Matera doing the colors, and Tom B. Long, of course, doing the lettering. So talented cast. What this is about is Padme joins up with Jar Jar on a quest to recover a legendary Gungan artifact, and it turns out to not go their way. Plus, we get the story of Gannis Decane, or Gannis Decane. But Decane, of course, is the character we learn about in The Force Awakens, who stole the Falcon. And this is what we learn. We get to see how he steals the Falcon. Now, this is already leaked online, and I can tell you that we do, in fact, see, but how he steals the Millennium Falcon may be very obvious or might be very disappointing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you will make of it. I am seeing now a message. You know what? Maybe the third time is the charm. Patrick's going to be like so frustrated with me right now. I'm going to try one more time to see if we've got this audio figured out. I'm going to pod him up. If I hear my voice again, I'm just going to bring it right back down. You know what? Third time's a charm, or third time wasn't a charm, and we'll just have to figure out after the show. So I'm going to pod it up right now. Maybe third time is the charm. All right, so Patrick's going to be like so frustrated with me right now. I'm going to try one more time to see if we've got this audio figured out. I'm going to pod him up. Yep, Patrick, I don't think it's going to work out. Okay, so third time was not the charm. That's a bummer. Was really hoping to have Patrick, but the good news is that we will have Patrick with us next week. So, Patrick, so sorry about it. I'll follow up with you after the show. But in the meantime, those are the 2 comics coming out today. We will talk about these comics, Star Wars, Solo Star Wars Story number 5, and then, of course, Star Wars Adventures number 18. We'll talk about that tomorrow morning. We'll have Patrick with us in the live chat. Shouldn't be a problem. We just weren't able to connect before the show, but not the end of the world by any means. Let's talk about our last thing here, and that is Star Wars number 108. This is a big deal, okay? This is a big deal because this is the original Marvel run, and this is a series that has been dead for decades. And a couple of weeks ago, you might remember that I showed off my Star Wars number 1, the 1977 Star Wars number 1, and I kind of want to finish up that run, but that's going to be like a lot of time and money, so I'm probably not going to be able to do that. But I am interested in this 108 because they're talking about how like they're going to bring back like Jackson and like a couple other like maybe like Tag and Bink might make an appearance in this comic. So it's a single shot, and it'll be interesting to see like what the story actually is and what characters they try and bring from that original run, and like how that will fit in with like Star Wars, and like will that one shot be officially canon at that time? Because if so, and then you bring in like Tag and Bink and you bring in Jackson and you say these aren't legend stories, but this is actual canon, that's a game changer for like a lot of fans who grew up on the 107 issues, that original 77 run, and loved that series. Some of that stuff is really trippy though. Like, oh gosh, I want to say it's like Star Wars number 18, but it's not 18. But it's titled like The Last Jedi, and the book got super hot. You're talking a book that was like $3-4 worth, and then The Last Jedi title got announced, and this book jumped up to like $75. And people were talking about, this is such a pivotal book, and it's so purple. There's like a purple monster, I think, on the cover. If it's not that cover, there's another in this line where it's like this huge space monster, and it's the difference between science fiction, sci-fi, fantasy, and so sometimes we get too fantastical, I think. But you know what? Hey, it's been 44 years. New stuff is going to come in the Star Wars galaxy. We're learning that right now with the movies and the TV show. Hey, if World Between Worlds worked in Star Wars Rebels, maybe the big, large, purple monster spirit thing could work in this current Star Wars world. So that's everything I got. It's an abridged episode because, like I said, we're playing a game of catch-up. Bummed we couldn't have Patrick on the episode today. Not the end of the world. We'll have him back tomorrow. We'll do a mic check right after this and figure out just where the connectivity issue is. But still, just glad that we could get this episode on the line. We could chat with folks in the live chat. People are blowing up the live chat. Take a look at this. I'm going to check in here real quick. I want to say thanks to everyone joining on the live, by the way, because this was not planned. This was very spontaneous, just between myself and Patrick. But Area 51 is saying, has anyone seen the new Star Wars figures from the New York Toy Fair? You know, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I can actually do this and pull up these figures right now for you. The toys happening, the toys at the New York Toy Fair. Hasbro just brought it this year. Without a doubt. You know, right now you're looking at the new 8-inch hyper-real Vader figure that is astonishing. But this figure is going to be like $95. You know, the Black Series figures, the 6-inch scale, don't really break the bank, because the 6-inch scale is $22. Now we're getting into this 8-inch territory. An extra 2 inches costs you like almost $100. That's like, what, 3 times, 4 times the amount of money? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous, right? But they're also doing this retro series, which is kind of a rehash, a board game here, Escape from the Death Star. David, my co-host on the live show on Sundays, is really excited about that. I think I'm really just excited for the new Black Series figures. And there's also some, like, 20th anniversary figures for the Phantom Menace. So I'll show you those in a second. Let me jump back here into live chat and figure out what is going on. All right, so we have Ganon 136, which is Patrick in there. Love that. Discovered Bay Comics, you have been discovered, he says. He says hi to myself, Alex, and Area 51, as well as Semper Fi. Discovery Bay, always good to see you in the live chat. Appreciate you being here. We also have still Area 51. Poor Mike is here. I have the original trading cards and stickers. Took me months to find them as a kid. And Area 51 says the Solo Chewie is amazing. I like this Obi-Wan figure here. This is very similar to the original Obi-Wan figure that we got in '99. I have it at home. I lost the lightsaber. Still very mad about it. But to see it 20 years later, and it's at a larger scale and more detail, I really do hope that I'd be able to pick that up. So, you know what? I just wanted to make people happy. Area 51 asked if we had seen those Star Wars figures from the New York Toy Fair. Hasbro brought it. Yes, Patrick. The new Phantom Menace figures are absolutely sick. And I think I'm really just latching onto that Obi-Wan because it's like nostalgia for me. But, like, you know, you see like this Mace Windu figure, and I'm all about that. And because that purple saber's going to be dope. I can't wait. Solid Padme figure here, Attack of the Clones era. Of course, before she gets all scratched up by those mean creatures. I would be curious to see how a Holdo sells. You know, the more we do the show, Beyond the Panel and Beyond the Blast Doors, I meet more people who like Holdo. And that's great if it works for you. I like Holdo and Leia, Princess of Alderaan, the Claudia Gray novel. I like that version of the character. But that's just me. Check that out. That desert skiff. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Paul McCadney, do you want to make an appearance on the show? Paul always wants to jump on the show. Here, I'll bring you up. Come here. Oh, the cat ran away. Now he's being a tease. He's being a diva, and I don't put up with that crap. Okay, so one more time. Boom. That's the Obi-Wan figure. That's what I'm going to get. That's the exclusive for Star Wars Celebration. I believe there's one more. I happen to be going to Star Wars Celebration, and I happen to be picking at least one of these up. I do think, though, if we can, I'd like for the three of us to go in for a Vader figure and give that away on the channel. I think that'd be really cool. So, hey, 6 people watching right now in the live chat. Thank you to them. 8 thumbs up. If you're watching in the live chat right now, do me a favor. Whether it's the figures or if it's the comics that we talked about today, please take the time under the video and comment in the actual comment section and let me know what your favorite part is, or if you like Beyond the Panel, or if you want to just be like, hey, we love the improvements that you're making to the show, because that'd be so cool if you noticed that. I'm not fishing for compliments. You know, contrary to popular belief, I'm not fishing for compliments. But I am just really excited about the growth that we were having, the improvement in production that we're having. So drop me a comment in the actual comment section. If you're watching on the rewind, obviously drop me comments down in the comment section down below. I will be sure to reply. I try and do a good job of that. Jesse will jump in there sometimes. I know that on episode 59 that we just did on Sunday, Pete Fletcher was with us. People were commenting. He was responding back to them. So that was pretty cool. He's also pretty active on Twitter. So just want to say thank you to everybody. Area 51, he got that pre-ordered on that skiff. Let me tell you this right now. If you go into the description right now, we have included some Amazon links, Amazon affiliate links And so what that means is if you actually order on Amazon through our links, all you have to do is click it. You don't have to buy the item that we were advertising, but as long as you click that link and you buy, a portion actually goes and supports Beyond the Blast Doors and helps us. And what we're using that money for is improving our cameras. I think we need to get a new soundboard so that way we never have an audio tech issue again. So help us do that. But if you want to pre-order any of those figures that you saw, or if you want to get Age of Republic trade paperbacks, so the Age of Republic books are being separated into the heroes and the villains, you can pre-order those trades right now on Amazon. I've also hyperlinked the new Claudia Gray Masters of Apprentice, the new E.K. Johnson Padme novel, and the third of the new Thrawn novels, Thrawn Treason. It's all in the description below. If you're going to get anything on Amazon, if you're going to get anything Star Wars, consider that as a way of supporting the channel and using our affiliate links. We'll have those links at the bottom of, in the description of every video we do. So whether that's you're doing your nerdy shopping, you're doing shopping for the house or whatnot, if you're buying it on Amazon, boom, there's the links. Thanks for supporting Beyond the Blast Doors in our conversation. One last look in the live chat, and it looks like there is no update from the live chat. So we've hit about a half hour. I'm going to wrap things up. It was a great time visiting with you, talking about Star Wars comics. I bummed again that we didn't get Patrick on that, but that's okay. We'll have him tomorrow, and we're going to have a blast, probably go a little bit longer because we'll have Patrick there and getting his takes on the current status of Star Wars comics. You know, we talk about how sometimes sales are down. We're talking about how there seems to be too many different Star Wars lines out there. Well, we're going to get his take on it, and it should be a lot of fun. He says, Patrick's like, more than likely an issue is on my end, but we'll get it sorted out. Hell yeah, we will. Because we're great. Well, we're not great. Well, you're great. I'm just trying to make it, and we're just trying to get by. That's going to do it for issue number 6 of Beyond the Panel. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. It's always so much fun to talk Star Wars comics with you. Always so much fun to talk Star Wars comics with you. And don't forget that this cool cover is coming out. We're going to get a rehash of this comic. And that Beyond the Blast Doors is live this Sunday. I had to get to the next shot, so I had the right lower graphic. But 11 a.m. Central this Sunday, going to be a lot of fun. Going to have John Hoey with us from StarWarsNewsNet.com. And he's going to talk about Episode 9 leading up to Celebration and a few more things. Maybe like stories that we're not talking about enough. That'd be really funny. He'd be like, you know, the one story you're not talking about is a story that I've had up on Star Wars Newsnet for the last week and a half, and you guys just are terrible for not recognizing it. And that could totally happen. I'm just really excited to talk with him. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Area 51 says, thanks for the live show. Melanie says, stay warm and safe in the snow. In northeast Missouri right now, we just have slush. Not much snow, but we... Snow. It's ice. It's ice. So... we're gonna have it's not as bad as it was a couple of weeks ago, but there's been snow on the ground here since January 7th, which was this last time I've played golf. Oh, I miss the game so much. Okay, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna wrap this thing up. We gotta get out of here. We have to end the day. It's been so much fun though. Beyond the Panel number 6. Well, I'll see you this Sunday, 11 a.m. Actually, I'm gonna see you tomorrow with Patrick Covey.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Blast Doors. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars conversation.